Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to build your very first command line toolkit. We're going to look at 4 super simple but incredibly powerful commands that will totally change the game for how you manage files and directories in Linux. All right, let's get into it.
You know the drill, right? We've all been there. Clicking, dragging, right-clicking, just digging through folder after folder, trying to find that one file. It's just so slow and kind of clunky. But what if you could do all of that, and way faster, without your hands ever leaving the keyboard? Well, that's exactly the kind of power we're going to tap into today.
And that is where the command line comes in. I want you to think of it like your own personal digital workshop. And today, we're going to give you your first 4 essential tools. And look, these aren't just random commands. Think of them as the foundation for becoming a true digital craftsman, someone who can build, organize, and manage projects with some serious speed and precision.
Okay, so we're going to start off with the basics, the really safe stuff. Creating new spaces and making copies of your work. This is like laying the foundation for a house and drawing up the blueprints. Once you nail these, you are well on your way. Let's kick things off with mkdir and cp.
First up, we've got mkdir, and that's just short for Make Directory. This is your digital hammer and nails. Literally any time you need a new folder for a project, a place to dump some photos, or just a new directory to keep things tidy, mkdir is your go-to tool.
So how do you actually use it? Well, it's about as simple as it gets. You just type mkdir and then the name of the directory you want. So, for example, mkdir projects would instantly create a brand new folder called projects right where you are. Boom. Done.
Okay, but what happens when you need to get a little more complex? Like, what if you need to create a folder inside another folder that doesn't even exist yet? This is where mkdir has a really cool trick up its sleeve. You use the -p flag, which stands for parent. It basically tells the command, hey, I need you to create this January folder, and if 2025 or projects aren't there, just go ahead and make them for me. Trust me, this one is a huge time saver.
All right, tool number 2 in our kit is CP, or copy. This is your blueprint machine. It lets you safely make a duplicate of a file before you start messing with it, or create a quick backup, or just reuse a template. It is absolutely essential for protecting your work.
And using it is super easy. You just type cp, then the file you want to copy, and then whatever you want to name the new one. So if you typed cp file1.txt, file2.txt, it would just take that original file and create a perfect clone called file2.txt.
But here's a question for you. What if you want to copy a whole folder? You know, with all the files inside it. For that, you need a special flag, R, which means recursive. So cp myfolder/backup/ tells the command to dive into my folder, grab everything it sees, all the files, all the folders inside, and copy the whole lot over to your backup folder. Seriously, if you forget that little R, it's just not going to work on a directory.
Okay, so we've made some stuff, we've copied some stuff, now it's time to get organized. This next tool is all about putting things where they belong and giving them names that actually make sense.
So, let me introduce you to MV. This thing is a real workhorse. It's short for move, but it does 2 jobs for the price of 1. You can use it to move a file from one place to another, or you can use it to just rename a file without moving it at all. 1 command, 2 totally different, super useful jobs. How cool is that?
And this slide shows you exactly how that works. Check out the left side. To move a file, you'd type something like mv_file.txt/home/user documents. Because that last part is a directory, MV knows you want to move the file into it. But now look at the right. To rename a file, you'd type mv oldname.txt newname.txt. Since that last part is just another file name, MV knows you just want to rename it. You see? The context is everything.
So, we've built things, we've copied them, we've moved them around. Now we get to the last tool in our starter kit. And this one is the power tool. It's fantastic for clearing out junk, but it needs your full attention. You gotta respect its power. Let's talk about deleting things.
Okay, this is RM, which stands for remove. Its job is brutally simple. It permanently deletes files and directories you don't want anymore. Think of it as the ultimate cleanup crew for your digital space, getting rid of old drafts and projects you're done with.
And using it on a single file couldn't be easier. You just type rm and then the name of the file, like rm_file.txt, and that file is gone. Quick, clean, effective.
Now,
Just like with copying, if you want to nuke an entire directory, you need that R recursive flag again. The command rm-r myfolder/ tells RM to march into that folder, delete everything inside, all the files, all the subfolders, and then delete the folder itself. The whole shebang.
Okay, everybody, lean in for this one, because this is the most important thing you'll hear about RM. There is no undo button. There's no recycle bin, no trash can to pull things out of. When you use RM, whatever you pointed at is gone. Poof. So always, always, always double-check what you're deleting before you hit that Enter key.
And just like that, you've got your first command line toolkit. With just these 4 commands, you now have the power to create, duplicate, organize, and clean up your digital world with a level of efficiency you just can't get by clicking around. So let's do a super quick recap. This here is your new cheat sheet. You create with mkdir. You copy with cp. You move or rename with mv, and you remove with rm. See the pattern? Create, copy, move, remove. It's the entire life cycle of a file, right there at your fingertips.
And hey, this is really just the beginning of your journey. The next logical step? Well, that's learning how to actually see what's inside these files without ever opening up a big graphical program. And for that, you've got amazing tools like Cat, Less, and Head, just waiting for you to add them to your toolkit.
All right, so you've got the tools, you've got the knowledge. The only question now is, what's the first project you're going to tackle? What are you going to organize? So go on, fire up that terminal, and start building.